Ever get that itch to make money online? Maybe specifically on YouTube, but the thought of being on camera just feels like a major hurdle.
Yeah, or maybe you think you need like a whole professional setup.
Exactly. Well, what if generating income on YouTube could actually be, a lot more accessible, even without showing your face or like breaking the bank on gear?
It's a really interesting question.
It is. And today we're taking a deep dive into that exact possibility. And well, our sources show it's not just wishful thinking. It's really happening.
Absolutely. We've sifted through a pretty fascinating collection of YouTube transcripts, mostly from the Persian-speaking world, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they lay out all these diverse channel ideas, plus their estimated earning potential. And we also have an English transcript that shares a really smart way to figure out what kinds of videos people are actually watching.
Okay, great. So our mission here basically is to pull out the most practical, maybe the most inspiring ideas from these sources.
Right. We want to understand the kinds of content that are genuinely grabbing viewers, and generating revenue.
For channels where you never even see the creator's face.
Exactly. Think of this as us doing the initial legwork for you, giving you a head start on understanding how this whole income stream works.
No matter your technical background.
Right. Okay, so let's unpack this.
Let's do it. Where do we start?
Well, the core concept, a faceless YouTube channel, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
You create content, but you, the creator, you just don't appear on screen.
Simple enough.
And our sources, they really highlight some clear advantages to doing it this way.
Like what, for instance?
Well, for a lot of people, it's about comfort. Privacy, too.
Yeah, I get that. Not everyone wants to be the face of their channel.
Exactly. And it also, significantly lowers the barrier to entry.
How so?
You can often just start with a phone or a laptop. You can kind of bypass the need for expensive cameras, fancy lighting, dedicated studios, all that stuff.
Right. So much less initial investment needed.
Definitely.
And it's interesting you mentioned Persian YouTube. Even if the examples are maybe from English channels, these ideas could work there too.
Oh, absolutely. Many of these ideas have direct relevance, or maybe even a lot of untapped potential within the Persian YouTube market.
Okay. And when we look across successful faceless channels, are there common techniques they use, things that keep popping up?
Yeah, there really are. We consistently see things like voiceovers. Sometimes they're even using AI to generate the narration.
Oh, wow. AI voiceovers?
Yeah, it's becoming more common. Also, the use of stock footage. Animations could be simple whiteboard stuff or, more complex productions.
Right.
AI-generated images are getting big, too. Screen recordings, obviously. And even just cleverly re-editing existing content, but adding new value.
Lots of tools in the toolkit then, even without being on camera.
For sure.
All right, now let's get to the part everyone's probably most curious about, the actual channel ideas and, the money. What kind of income are we talking?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. Our sources give us some really compelling examples. Let's start with psychology and relationships. There's a channel called Psych2Go that illustrates this well.
Psychology. Okay. So, what kind of topics are we talking about there?
Things most people can relate to, really. Relationships, attraction, understanding why people act the way they do, mental well-being in general.
Stuff people search for online all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the sources suggest there's huge viewership potential here, especially with younger audiences on Persian YouTube, like under 30s who are really interested in, say, attracting a partner or figuring out if someone likes them.
Makes sense. And the income for a channel like Psych2Go, you said it was compelling.
It's pretty mind-blowing, honestly. They get around 14 million views every month.
Wow, 14 million.
Yeah. And using a calculation we found in one of the Persian sources, it suggests roughly $4,000, maybe 240 million tomans per million views.
Oh.
While you do the math. This channel is estimated to be bringing in somewhere between like 2.4 and nearly 4 billion tomans monthly.
Billion per month. That's huge.
It's a lot. And what's fascinating is their style. They use these simple animated characters.
Right. I think I've seen those.
And they create really clickable titles, things that tap right into common questions, anxieties, stuff like signs someone is suicidal, how to spot fake friends, or, signs someone is crushing on you.
Very relatable stuff.
Super relatable. And the source also pointed out that for this specific type of high-quality site content, the Persian YouTube market is surprisingly open.
Really? Not much competition.
Apparently fewer than 5 really good established channels doing this specific thing, which, suggests a pretty big opportunity for someone.
Definitely something to think about there. Okay, what's next? Let's maybe switch gears. How about travel?
Yeah, travel and location-focused stuff. Travelpedia is a great example here.
Travelpedia, okay, what's their angle?
They basically showcase different places around the world, but using really high-quality stock footage.
Ah, stock footage again?
Yep,
Yeah.
all with voiceovers. The creator never appears. And they've built a big audience, 1.5 million subs, with only about 120 videos.
Impressive growth. And the income potential.
Estimated around 500 million Tomans monthly, based on about 2 million views.
Still very significant. What makes their approach work so well, do you think?
Well, a few things. Their format is very structured. Often they'll do like a top 10 or top 25 tourist spots in a specific country.
Curated lists, people like those.
They do. And interestingly, one source mentioned they even use AI sometimes to help generate the location lists and convert the text script into a voice narration.
Using AI again?
But crucially, they really emphasize this. They use high-quality visuals, not just, grainy Google images with watermarks all over them.
Visual appeal is key for travel, I guess.
Absolutely. Plus, travel content often has a higher RPM.
RPM. Remind us what that is.
Revenue per mil. So revenue per 1,000 views. Advertisers often pay a bit more to show ads on travel stuff.
Ah, right.
And it's often evergreen content, too. People are always planning trips.
Makes sense. Okay, moving on. Movies and TV shows. That seems like a popular area.
Huge area. Channels like Cinex, and then the really big one, WatchMojo.
Oh yeah, everyone knows WatchMojo.
Exactly. So this niche is all about creating lists, top 10s, recommendations for popular films, TV series, highlighting iconic scenes, best moments.
Some stuff to watch.
Definitely. Cinex, for example, introduces popular movies each month. They use engaging covers, good narration. And even though it's just voiceover and existing footage, they focus on recommending films that people generally liked.
So curating based on popularity.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And WatchMojo, well, they take it to a massive scale. 40 million subscribers, doing all sorts of top 10 lists.
Wow.
And their strategy, using famous faces, memorable scenes like Bruce Lee clips, for example, that really pulls viewers in.
And is this kind of content hard to make? Seems like you're just using existing clips.
Well, that's the interesting part. The barrier can be relatively low. Finding the right clips, maybe transcribing a bit of dialogue, and then re-editing it slightly.
To avoid copyright issues.
Exactly. You need to add value, transform it somehow. But it can be a way to create engaging content. And the success of similar channels in Persian, like Tarfan apparently earning around 120 million Tomans, shows it works there too.
People just love recommendations and seeing lists, I guess. That fear of missing out.
Totally. It taps right into that.
Okay, let's switch gears again. Tech gadgets and inventions. TechZone was mentioned.
Yeah, TechZone. They showcase and introduce all sorts of gadgets, new tech, inventions. They've got 2.2 million subs, and the estimated income is huge again, around 2.4 billion Tomans.
Another massive number. What's the opportunity here, especially in the Persian market?
Well, what's really interesting is that the Persian YouTube space seems to have a bit of a gap here. There aren't many dedicated high-quality channels focused just on tech gadgets.
Really? Even though people are interested in tech?
Yeah, there's clearly interest. You see huge followings on Instagram gadget pages in Iran, but dedicated YouTube channels, fewer. So there's an opportunity.
So how would someone get into that? Do you need the gadgets yourself?
Not necessarily, especially at first. You could potentially curate and present promotional content from the manufacturers themselves.
Or they wouldn't mind.
Often, they're happy for the promotion.
Oh.
They might be less likely to issue copyright strikes if you're showcasing their products well. And down the line, as the channel grows, big potential for sponsorships.
Makes sense. They want the exposure.
Right. And one source even mentioned a different angle, testing everyday items in fun ways, like the old Mentos and soda trick. That kind of tech-adjacent experimental content can also draw viewers.
Huh. Yeah, those are always fun. Okay, another angle. Fan pages and compilations. You mentioned a channel focused on Mia Khalifa.
Yeah, the Shani channel. The idea here is simple. Create content for fans of a specific popular person. You compile funny moments, interesting clips from their existing public stuff.
Tapping into an existing audience.
Exactly. Someone like Mia Khalifa gets millions of views anyway, right? So you leverage that built-in fan base. This example channel got over 11,000 subs with just 18 videos. Pretty rapid growth.
Wow. But there's a catch with monetization, right? You can't just re-upload stuff.
Huge catch. Absolutely right. If you just rip and re-upload content without adding anything significant, your own commentary, analysis, creative editing, you'll likely run into YouTube's reused content rules.
Meaning no ad money.
Precisely. Demonetization is a real risk. The key is adding your own unique value. But the potential for fan channels is broad. YouTubers, streamers, gamers. Loads of popular figures in both Persian and English spheres.
Gotcha. Add value, make it original.
Okay, let's shift to personal development, self-improvement. Far from weak was the example.
Yeah, far from weak. This niche covers topics like overcoming disrespect, building self-esteem, general life advice, motivation.
Always popular topics, for sure. And their approach is really interesting. Instead of a live host, they use an animated character. Sometimes it looks like Kratos from God of War or other warrior types, even memes sometimes.
Animated characters instead of a face. Clever.
It is. And they use AI voiceovers. The content itself likely comes from sources like ChatGPT, making it potentially quite efficient to produce.
So easier content creation.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
The topics are readily available. And their video style is quite distinct. They mix motivational speeches with clips from movies, games, stock footage that all visually match the message.
Visually engaging them.
Definitely. And the source highlighted potential in the Persian market too. Channels like Kashayar Talks, Vito, they cover similar ground, like dopamine detox, mental health. They're often on camera, but they're getting good initial views.
So interest is growing there.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Especially among a slightly older demographic maybe who are now on YouTube more.
Interesting. Okay, how about something completely different? Food. Street food, restaurant vlogs, Yummypedia.
Yes, Yummypedia. They focus on showcasing street food, local restaurants, often with a big emphasis on large portions. The visual appeal of food being made.
Food porn, basically.
Pretty much. And their growth is impressive, 8,000 subs, but some videos have hundreds of thousands of views, one hits 660K, all with just 19 videos up.
Wow. And the income?
Estimated around 150 million tomans. What's cool is how they started just filming a bakery next door.
Really? That simple?
Apparently. Then they started offering promotional videos to other restaurants, capturing those big, juicy shots of food being prepared. That seems to be the magic.
People love watching food being made.
Absolutely. High viewership potential in Persian and especially English markets. The source even suggested someone with just a phone could potentially earn a large restaurant in Tehran doing this.
Just with a phone. Incredible. Okay, here's a different one. Walking with me vlogs. Complete walking together.
Yeah, this is a fascinatingly simple concept. These channels just film walks in various places, often focusing on street fashion or just the vibe of a place.
No talk.
Typically no narration at all. Complete walking together films street fashion in Italy. They get nearly 1 million views a month, earn over $2,000.
Just from filming walks? How does that work?
It sounds simple, but the key is the location or the focus needs to be visually interesting. What works varies too, like maybe beach walks are big in Spain, street fashion in Italy.
So location matters.
A lot. But the main point is these channels are often monetized and require zero talking, zero on-screen presence, makes them super accessible, especially if you live somewhere interesting outside Iran, maybe.
Very low barrier to entry there. What about study with me? That's a thing, right?
Oh yeah, huge thing. These are long videos, sometimes live streams of someone just studying.
Seriously, people watch that.
Apparently. The Merv channel has nearly 1 million subs. Often it's just silent video, maybe in a library, sunrise to sunset study sessions.
Okay, and how do they make money?
The super long video length allows for way more ad breaks. So potentially significant ad revenue. It's popular in both Persian and English spheres.
Huh. Never would have guessed. Okay, then there's ASMR.
Right, ASMR. Creating videos with specific sounds meant to trigger that relaxing tingle. Autonomous sensory meridian response.
It has a dedicated following.
It really does. And it's definitely growing on Persian YouTube, especially among female creators. Equipment needed, often just a decent microphone to start.
And the income potential?
One source estimated maybe $50 to $100 for a video with around 22,000 views, so it adds up if you get views.
Okay. How about telling stories? Like business stories, successes or failures?
Yeah, that's another niche. English channels do this well. Good monetization potential if you add real analysis, insights, value.
But does it work without being on camera?
It can, but one source mentioned that having your own image being on screen can sometimes help when dealing with intermediary companies for monetization.
Ah, okay. Good point.
But for research, Google, ChatGPT, great tools for finding stories and scripting.
Makes sense. And for finance folks, investment education.
Definitely. We see examples in English and the Sadagian channel in Persian. These tend to have high RPMs, good ad rates.
And you could sell courses too, presumably.
Exactly. Courses, consultations, extra income streams there.
History, real stories from the past.
Yeah, popular too. Persian channels like Gasadak TV, Tunnel Zamana. They use old footage voiceovers. Gasadak TV has 1 million subs, gets over 1 million views a month.
Again, showing the power of curation?
Right, as long as you add value editing, commentary to avoid copyright issues. And there are those cool what-if history channels in English using animation. Big views there too.
Okay, back to wellness, home fitness.
Always popular. Lots of English channels doing workouts, health tips. One example highlighted was interesting, focused on foods and drinks to increase sexual potency.
Oh.
Yeah, simple visuals, no talking apparently, but still got 1.4 million views in 28 days. Shows niche topics can work.
Wow. How about teaching people how to succeed online, like on YouTube itself?
Meta, right? Yeah, channels teaching YouTube, Instagram, TikTok skills. English examples like SkillVids, sometimes they do editing tutorials, Facelessly or Nate Black. Potential for direct income, plus selling courses.
Tech reviews again. We touched on gadgets, but general tech.
Right, broader tech reviews and recommendations. As we said, it seems like a gap in the Persian market specifically. Good RPM potential, styles, usually narration over product visuals. Using your own footage or short clips helps with copyright.
What about science experiments?
Can get huge views,
Right.
but often needs expertise, special equipment, maybe higher costs. Not as easy to jump into.
Right. Okay, celebrity gossip. YouTuber news.
Oh yeah, that's evergreen. Channels like Iran Havashi and Persian, tons in English. It's all about leveraging the popularity of others.
Riding the wave of trending topics.
Exactly. You need to be really plugged into the online community, catch news fast.
Okay, this is a weird one. Simulation software, like car crashes.
Sounds niche, but yeah. Channels using software like BeamNG for realistic car crash simulations. They get insane view counts, millions per week sometimes.
Millions. Yeah. RPM might be lower, but the volume is huge.
Does require software skills. Probably a powerful PC, though.
Definitely specialized. Back to the Persian market car reviews. We mentioned Salar, Benjamin.
Right. Still popular, especially for cars people in Iran can actually buy. But yeah, probably needs a team, access to cars, more involved.
Men's style, grooming advice.
Aiden style in Persian is an example. Good views, mixes on camera, and voiceover visuals. Could definitely be adapted for women, teens, other groups.
Crafts, sewing tutorials.
Big potential, especially visually focused ones. Less talking means more potential for international viewers, right? We see Iranian female creators getting good views locally too.
Time lapses, like art or plants growing.
Can be cool, but needs a really unique or interesting subject to stand out, get those views.
Okay, tarot readings. You mentioned that's big in the Persian market.
Seems to be, yeah. Example channels have good views, upload often, high demand there.
True crime, criminal cases. Very popular genre. English examples abound. In Persian, Mary Jane Report is on camera, but MediTube does narrated text like a podcast. Gets 1 million views a month with that simple style.
Wow. But requires a lot of research, ethical care.
Absolutely. Research, privacy concerns, maybe even an emotional toll on the creator. Not for everyone.
What about weird animations? Surreal stuff.
Huh. Yeah, some English channels doing bizarre, often nonsensical animations get hundreds of millions of views. Often no dialogue.
Hundreds of millions.
Crazy, right? Animation takes time, obviously, but huge reward for creativity. Maybe work as a team. And there's a Persian market for comedic animation based on real events, too.
DIY, woodworking, for skilled folks.
Huge potential. English examples have like 80 million subs. But yeah, need skills, tools, maybe higher costs. Could be jewelry, metalwork, anything crafty.
Gaming simulators, like VR football, cooking sims.
Yeah, playing and commentating on simulation games seems to work well. Good view counts on channels doing that.
Environmental cleanup, creative reuse of trash.
Love this idea. Collecting trash, building stuff from plastic bottles. Great positive message. Potential for engagement.
DIY life hacks again, the visual kind.
Yeah, massive channels doing this. Huge video libraries, 80 million subs on one example. Need high quality, constant creativity though.
Vlogs, just daily life.
Well established, but tricky. Success stories like Casey Neistat or Mia Plays show you need good storytelling, good production camera, mic, editing. Just filming random stuff usually doesn't work. Needs a narrative.
Hidden camera pranks? Still a thing.
Oh yeah. Indian examples, Sohail and Persian. Needs a funny personality, persistence, a camera person, and you really need to know local laws. Specific prank types often become the channel's focus.
Motivation again. Self-help, but maybe on camera this time.
Can work well. English examples show simple on-camera setup gets engagement. Persian example, like One Step Higher, focuses on overcoming laziness. Helps if you're charismatic, relatable.
Podcast interviews with interesting people online.
Definitely a format.
Yeah.
English, Persian examples exist. Need connections, though, maybe a decent setup or brand.
Food challenges, taste tests.
Always popular. Eating challenges, trying weird foods. English channels, Benjamin in Persian, often funnier with a group too.
And finally, beauty and makeup.
Massive niche, huge demand. English stars, soft beauty in Persian, lots of sponsorship potential. You can even start just by reviewing your own products.
Wow. Okay, that is an incredible range of possibilities. Just amazing how many ways there are to do this without showing your face.
It really is.
But, okay, having an idea is one thing. How do you know if it's actually got legs? Will people watch it? Our English source, Skillvid, had a technique for that, right? For spotting popular topics.
Yes, exactly. They
Yeah.
talk about TAM, total addressable market.
TAM. Okay, what's that mean in simple terms?
Think of it like if you're going fishing, TAM is the size of the whole lake, all the potential fish or viewers you could possibly reach. Bigger TAM, more potential.
Gotcha. Bigger lake, more fish. So how do you measure the TAM for a YouTube topic?
Their method is pretty smart. First, you just search YouTube for your topic. Pretty standard. Then, and this is key, you filter the results by view count. See what's most popular overall.
Most viewed videos for that topic.
Right. But then, the really crucial step. You filter again by upload date. Specifically, select last year.
Ah, so you're seeing what's popular right now, not just historically.
Exactly. You don't want to jump on a trend that died out 2 years ago. This shows you what's currently getting traction, what people are actively watching recently.
That is smart. Cuts through the old stuff.
Totally. They also suggest maybe using a browser extension to hide YouTube Shorts temporarily. Just helps you focus on the longer videos if that's what you plan to make.
Good tip. Okay, so you've got the list of popular videos from the last year. Then what?
And you analyze them. Really look at the view counts they got in that last year and check out the channels making them. How many subs do they have? What's the quality like?
So you're basically checking out the current competition and seeing what's working for them.
Precisely. What's resonating now and who's doing it well? They also suggest looking at the overall view counts without the last year filter.
Why do that?
It gives you a sense of the long-term potential and maybe how long it took some older videos in that niche to get really popular. They used Photoshop tutorials as an example.
How so?
Well, maybe Photoshop tutorials don't have massive views just in the last year compared to some other topics, but the older videos might have millions of views built up over time. Shows enduring interest.
Okay, so current buzz versus long-term potential.
Right. And they contrast that with something like cooking.
Which you said is always popular.
Yeah. If you search for cooking and filter by last year, you'll probably see lots of recent videos with really good views already. That shows a healthy current TAM, especially in a market like Persian YouTube.
Makes sense.
And the key takeaway this stresses for newer or maybe less crowded markets, like certain niches within Persian YouTube, even if the initial last year results aren't showing massive views, lower competition could still mean a big opportunity exists.
So don't be discouraged just by slightly lower numbers in some markets.
Exactly. They also suggest checking Google Trends for your topic, just to get a broader sense of general interest over time.
Okay, so this whole TAM technique,
Yeah.
it's not just for picking a channel theme, right? You could use it for individual video ideas too.
Absolutely. Before you sink hours into making a video, do a quick TAM check on that specific topic. See if people are actually searching for and watching stuff about it recently. Validate the idea first.
Saves a lot of potentially wasted effort.
Definitely. And Skillvid connects this back to other important stuff like titles, descriptions, thumbnails. Using this research helps you craft those elements to really grab clicks once you know people are interested in the topic.
This is incredibly practical advice, really valuable for anyone thinking of starting out or even trying to grow an existing channel.
Yeah, it's a solid framework.
Okay, before we wrap this deep dive up, are there any final, crucial things our listeners should really keep in mind if they're inspired by all this?
Yeah, definitely a few important points. First, consistency. It's huge. You got to be prepared to create and upload regularly. It doesn't have to be daily, but find a schedule and stick to it.
Consistency is key. Got it.
Patience, too.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing educational stuff or something more niche, building an audience takes time. Don't expect overnight success.
Manage expectations.
Exactly. And maybe most important, genuine passion for your topic. It really does shine through, and it'll keep you motivated when things get tough or growth feels slow.
If you don't enjoy it, it'll feel like a chore.
Totally. And just remember, success isn't guaranteed. It takes effort, quality content, and there actually needs to be market demand for what you're making.
Right. It's not magic.
No. And finally, once you do have an idea, really think about who your target audience is. Define them. Who are you making this for? Knowing that helps with everything, topics, style, everything.
Excellent points. Okay, so to kind of bring this all together, this deep dive has really shown just a massive, diverse range of possibilities for making money on YouTube without showing your face.
It really has. From education to entertainment, psychology to cooking, travel to tech, there's likely a niche out there for almost any interest.
And by understanding these different content types, knowing the potential income, and using smart techniques like that TAM method to find popular topics, you, the listener, can make much more informed choices about starting your own YouTube journey.
Absolutely. It's about going in with your eyes open, armed with good information.
So on that note, here's a final thought for you to mull over. Think about your own specific skills, your interests, your unique knowledge. How could you translate those into a successful faceless YouTube channel?
Yeah, what's your unique angle?
Exactly. What perspective or style could you bring to one of these niches we talked about? Or maybe even invent a whole new one. Don't feel limited by the examples. Feel inspired. Go take your own deep dive into this really exciting world of online content creation.